Good morning, warriors. Fernando here, God's prepared warrior, and welcome to Wednesday. We have made it halfway through the week. Thank God for that, right? Uh, I think the majority of us live for the weekend. um, so, yeah, we are halfway through, and I worked late last night till about 9, and it was a long day yesterday, so I'm pretty tired today. I could have slept a couple of more hours today, but it is what it is. Today, I want to talk about teaching our kids situational awareness. I think that I have really talked a lot about that for us as adults. I think, it's important, for us to have the conversation with our children. So today's kind of a heavy topic, especially after, learning about, the recent school shooting in Canada. I think that many parents, feel the same thing, that our kids, spend most of their day, somewhere outside the house, right? When they go to school and, they're there the majority of the day, just like parents are at work the majority of the day. And so, it's I think parents are starting now to with all of this that's happening, to really pay attention to this. So, this video isn't about fear. It is about responsibility. And so that's what I want to talk about today, right? We can't control the world, right? We can't. There's just no way for that. You can't even control your state. You can't even control your own city, right? But we can train our children to live aware instead of unaware, right? Talking about kids, prepared kids, aren't scared kids, right? They're attentive kids. And so I think the real thing, or the real issue, right, is that most children are taught to be polite, and they're not taught to be observant, right? We'll tell them, be nice, right? Wherever you go, be nice to your teacher, be nice to other students, be respectful. We teach them those things, and those are great things. I'm not saying they're bad things. We even go off, to say, mind your own business, right? But awareness requires noticing, right? Danger rarely, looks dangerous, at first. It usually looks, kind of out of place. So the habit we want to build is really simple, right? We want our kids to pay attention to things that don't quite fit, right? Not to paranoid them, but to just be aware, right? I want to share with you 4 awareness skills that every child can learn, and I think it's really easy for us as parents to kind of teach them, right? Here's the first one. Always know 2 ways out, right? We talk about this in the adult world, right? Know your ins and your outs, your exit and your entrance, right? Know those things, right? Teach them, the way in and the way out. Know where those are at, right? So wherever, they enter a classroom, a cafeteria, or maybe they're out with friends and they enter, the theater, they should ask, how would I leave if I couldn't use, the main door, right? What is the exit? Where is the place that I need to go to get out of this situation, right? Maybe even like make it a game, right? When you go places, right? You're training their brain to map their surroundings, and it doesn't have to be, heavy-handed, or it doesn't have to be, really hard, right? It's hey, so how many entrances do you see in this store? Or Where would you hide if, a fight broke out, right? It don't have to be like anything scary, but, what would you do, right? Simple questions, right? I think the second thing is help to teach them how to notice behavior and not people, right? We don't teach our kids to fear people. We teach them to notice different behavior, right? Maybe somebody's yelling when nobody else is, right? Maybe there's a force entry happening, right? And there's this loud noise, or maybe there's commands that don't make sense for where you are, right? Maybe there's adults acting out of place, right? It's important for us to train observation and not suspicion. I think that's an important thing that we can do as parents, right? Here's the third thing. We should help them to trust their internal alarm, right? Give them permission. If something feels wrong, you can move or you can get help, right? I mean, even if you're mistaken, it's good to listen to your gut, right? It's important for them to learn those things. We're training, early action, not hesitation, right? The fourth one is, I think we should teach our kids, distance creates safety, right? If something feels wrong, move away, right? Get behind something, something solid, not a paper or plastic sign, right? We want to get behind something that's solid. Maybe find an adult that is in authority, or just an adult, period, right? Teach them, to do the right thing in that moment, right? Don't be heroic. Just do the right thing, right? If they have a cell phone on them, they can call 911, right? This is not a time either to be curious, right? It's time to create distance. How do we teach this? Without scaring them, right? Don't lecture, for one. Don't lecture them about violence. Just build awareness into their normal life. Maybe at dinner, where would you go if there was a fire at church? Show me 2 exits, right? Maybe at the store, who works here? It's something you can ask. What do the employees wear that you can distinguish, right? Preparedness grows through normal conversation. We cannot promise our kids a safe world, but we can give them a prepared mind. Situational awareness isn't about fear. It's about paying attention, right? We trust God with what we cannot control. And if you're like me, you pray for your kids wherever they are. No matter how big or how small they are, you're praying for them always, right? And, we're being good stewards to what, we can do, right? So start small, ask simple questions. Little habits create calm minds. So that's what I got for you today, guys. Have a great day. And, be careful out there. And as always, stay vigilant and stay prepared. See you on the next video.